It is a great pleasure of mine to invite up Francis Marshall. Some of you may have already seen the incredible photography that's over in the Montefiore Hall, got the right name. Francis is the photographer who did the project. It's a photography project of London-based, openly queer leaders of religion, and I'll let Francis tell us more about it.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for welcoming me and allowing me to speak to you today. It's an enormous privilege. Thank you so much. And this has been a beautiful service. It's been absolutely gorgeous. My name is Francis Marshall, and I'm a photographer. I generally work in the area of opera and classical music. However, I'm here to talk to you today about my collection that I just completed called Queer Religion. So I'd love to give you some insight into how this project came about. I was born in the wonderful city of Dublin in Ireland. You might have heard the accent. And I was raised Roman Catholic, attended Catholic schools and was practicing Catholic until I came out as a lesbian at 19 and I decided to convert to atheism. At that time, it felt impossible to exist in both spaces of faith and queerness, and I chose to love myself and reject a belief system that deemed my existence to be sinful. I came across the words of Northern Ireland journalist Lyra McKee, who was murdered in 2019, and she perfectly summed up my thoughts around this. She said, as a Catholic, the first thing you learn about being gay is that it's evil and that you're going to hell, and that's out of the Bible. For many of the Bible is a place of solace and contemplation, but for queer people, it's a prison sentence. Ireland is an incredible country, full to the brim with rich culture and warmth. However, it is very much caught in the tight grasp of the Catholic Church. To this day, in the Republic of Ireland, 88% of schools are considered Catholic, and many of the hospitals still operate under a Catholic ethos. In my mid-20s, I trained as a secondary school music and English teacher, and during this period, I was subject to the Section 37 bill. This allowed for discrimination against workers based on their family status and sexual orientation. To put it simply, if my colleagues found out that I was gay at work, I would lose my position in the school. To make things worse, in the year 2000, the European Equality Directive provided an exemption to schools in Ireland run by the Catholic Church to maintain this bill until it was finally amended in 2015. I found this bill so suffocating that I quit teaching altogether, fully committed to photography, and moved to London. So the outcome was pretty good. My point in sharing this story with you is to highlight that not even atheism could protect me. To quote biosocial anthropologist Chelsea Shields, religion is more than belief. It's power and its influence. That influence affects all of us, regardless of your own belief. Criticism does not change things. Neither does invalidation. So how do we walk this tightrope together? This is an exhibition that came from an unresolved place in my heart, and standing here in front of you today as a married, heavily pregnant lesbian, I decided to create a collection that worked towards ridding religion of queerphobia. Even when I say it out loud, it sounds not only incredibly simplistic and naive, but also slightly arrogant. However, this is my dream, and why not share it with you today? The only way to do this was to work from the inside out, have very difficult conversations, and put myself on the firing line and just give it my best shot. So this is how the project came about. When I moved to London, I felt like I could breathe for the first time. I was blown away by the incredible diversity of race, faith, culture, and the level of artistry and creativity was just magic. My first step into this project happened a few years ago when I was living in Canning Town. I wanted to create a collection on the subject of diversity of religion in London. I reached out to a local priest in a nearby Catholic church and asked for a meeting. We sat in the pews, and within 5 minutes, completely disconnected from the conversation we were having, he began to speak of the sin of abortion and homosexuality. I came away feeling incredibly empty and lost. There was no way I was going to elevate this voice or any like it. Even as a documentary project, I couldn't give oxygen to this misogynistic, queerphobic rhetoric that surrounded my childhood. So I parked the project and I took a breath. Some time passed and I went to the glorious celebration that is London Pride. And I was standing amongst a crowd watching a drag show in Soho when I looked up and I saw a priest hanging out of the window with a pride flag draped around him, enjoying the atmosphere. The visual impacted me greatly. Soon after, we were invited to a dinner party where I met an Anglo-Catholic priest and his husband. We got on so well that I asked him if we could go for lunch. We sat across from each other in the pub in Hither Green, and he asked me, "Why did you leave your faith?" And I said I was tired of shrinking myself for an organisation that did not respect me. He understood completely and also had personal experience in the situation. He then asked me, "What would have made it better for you?" I said I needed a priest or a religious leader to tell me that it was okay to be gay, and not just okay, that it was a gift to have the capacity to love and be loved. He said, "You know those religious figures exist." And that was it. The seed for this project is planted, and that conversation set me on a path to create what I'm speaking to you about today. Queer Religion is a London-based collection that spotlights and celebrates prominent queer leaders in religion. These subjects risk so much personally in order to live in their truth and create positive change within their religions. The subjects captured openly identify as queer and by their very existence provide a safe space within institutions that historically have promoted queerphobia. The goal of this project is to shine a light on these individuals that demonstrate being queer and having religious beliefs can beautifully coexist. If you haven't already had a moment to take a look at the collection, I'd welcome you to in the Montefiore Hall. To work in an area focusing on both queerness and religion is to stand in one of the greatest paradoxes that the world has to offer today. And this is mainly due to human-made social constructs that must be challenged. What you will see are a collection of portraits of people who are fighting from within. Every subject that I've worked with in this collection is a beacon of beauty, self-reflection, bravery, dignity, and poetry. They are truly some of the finest humans that I've ever met. I want to show my endless gratitude to them for welcoming me so warmly into their lives and allowing me to take these portraits. If you would like to help this project move forward, let me tell you where you can catch it after the exhibition at this venue. Tomorrow it is going to the West London Synagogue, and then King's College London, the London LGBT Centre, South Bank, and Southwark Cathedral. I'm also speaking to organisations in Ireland who are going to host the collection as well. Individual images from the project have won the Portrait of Britain Prize and were part of a national public exhibition in partnership with the British Journal of Photography and Hoxton Mini Press. The collection has also been accepted to the Head-On Photography Festival in Sydney, and one of the portraits has qualified into the second round of the Taylor Vessing Photography Prize, and if successful will be part of a 4-month exhibition at London's National Portrait Gallery. It has also qualified for the second round of the Helsinki Photo Festival. When I've presented this collection recently, I've received constant Twitter DMs, LinkedIn messages, and emails from members of the queer community saying that this collection has made them feel safe. So trust me when I say I'm doing everything in my power to get this collection in front of as many people as I can. If you would like to help, the collection first and foremost needs support. This support would help the publication of the art book, multiple exhibitions, and a podcast, which would be presented internationally and in religious and secular spaces. If you're aware of an organisation or a person who may be interested and excited about pushing this project to the next chapter, please do come up to me afterwards or reach out at www.queerreligion.com. If I may conclude this moment with you now, I would like to return to the words of Lyra McKee. Great change of perception always starts with a conversation. Thank you.
It was a great honour to be part of the exhibition, and it's amazing how just representation, I mean, I grew up in school when it was Section 28, and I think that was partly why it took me so long to come out, because I just didn't know that it was okay to, and so there's just something so powerful about representation, and hopefully those photos will go far and wide.